Literally was waiting for 4 minutes for the streaming software to start. All right, we're ready to go here. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the new media production studio. The lead stories are Ford gets 100,000 pre-orders on the F-150 Lightning. Meat supplier JPS paid $11 million to ransomware attackers. Waymo brings driverless trucking to Texas on I-45. Best Buy and others have decided to be closed on Thanksgiving Day. Hey, I want to welcome you to episode 1533 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, June 10th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the brand new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out the podcast. We want you to get over to geeknewscentral.com, and when you're over on the website, we want you to go ahead and subscribe to the show. Lots of great content there. And, of course, lots of ways to subscribe to the show, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Subscribe by iHeart, Stitcher, Blueberry, JioSaavn, Ghana. The list goes on and on and on. You can subscribe to the podcast. Of course, sign up for a newsletter a little bit further down the page so that you don't miss a single thing about each of these episodes. We'll email you the show notes directly to your inbox. Of course, all this is available at geeknewscentral.com, so don't forget about that. You can always come back to the website anytime and consume the podcast, but we definitely want you to follow and subscribe to the show. You can join our chat room as well, geeknews.chat. That's a Mastodon chat server or on Discord. If you really, really are inclined and really want to be one of the cool kids, all you got to do is email me, geeknews@gmail.com, and be part of our Slack channel. Hang out with us, chit-chat, provide commentary. But anyway, lots of ways to stay connected to the show. And, of course, you can follow me on Facebook and all the other social media platforms at Geek News on Twitter, of course. So that's a location as well that you can hang out. And, of course, check all the partner shows out. They're all linked at geeknewscentral.com, whether it be the new media show, the Pro Gear Guru site, the Gadget Professor, the Podcast Legend Show, or GNC Weekend Review. Again, I want to thank all of you for being here. And, of course, we want to thank our sponsor. I want to thank GoDaddy.com for being a sponsor of the show. And really, all you have to do to take advantage of that is get over to geeknewscentral.com. And when you're on the website, there's a link or there's a banner for GoDaddy. Click on that or go to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And when you're on the GoDaddy promo code page, this is the way you save. You save big money, save up to 94% on GoDaddy products and services. Of course, you're not always getting a hosting account. You may be getting something else. So we've got a little different savings where you can get 30% off new product purchases on all the, accessories that GoDaddy offers. So that's 30% off new product purchases. The 94% comes in play when you pick up a hosting account. $1 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year, again with a free domain. Save 94% over retail. You can get a $4.99.com or new transfer domains for new customers, and or get a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder. If you're looking to really make it easy to build a business website, they also have personal options as well. Your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. That's a 30-day free trial. Again, get all your deals, get all your savings through me. In doing so, you directly support the show. We had a little bit slower month last month in our promotion with GoDaddy, so we definitely want you all to step up to the plate. Consider becoming a GoDaddy customer. All you got to do, again, is get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Take advantage of all my deals. There's something there for everyone. I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor of the show. And again, thank all of you for your ongoing support of the podcast. So before we get into the content tonight, I just kind of get you caught up real quick. This week was like, boo, it was gone. And I'm like, didn't have Monday off. But But here we are Thursday already, and the weekend is fast approaching. So projects, and been helping my mom out with. They've got a little bit of air conditioning issues going on at the compound, and so I'm dealing with that, working with the air conditioning tech. But so it's been long days and evenings. But I think there's going to be a busy weekend ahead. It looks to me like that's what it's going to be. I might be able to actually finish up at Diane's and help her with the floor for her bathroom. So we'll see how that shapes up time wise and schedules of everyone. That's the biggest thing, is trying to conjoin everyone's crazy schedules. So anyway, that's what's going on here. I hope you're doing well. Hope your families are staying safe. Things are opening back up, feeling a lot more normal. I would say here in this part of the country, masks are just about gone, except for restaurants. I'm still seeing people going into restaurants wearing masks, but it feels starting to feel a little bit like Christmas. No, we're feeling just a little bit normal again. And anyway, very cool. Hey, so many of you that are watching live or watching this in replay may see the brand new. If you're listening, you may want to take a look. One of my birthday presents is on the counter back there, and what it is, it's a little LED base with a blueberry logo on it. It lights up. So I've rearranged the shelf a little bit so I could see stuff a little better. We kind of hid Red Bull a little bit, and I don't know why, but just rearranged stuff just a tiny little bit. And speaking of Red Bull, just popped the top on a fresh one. See the steam roll off that? That was kind of cool. So anyway, that's what's been happening here. Busy weekend ahead, long days and late evenings. Really, it's weird here in I'm still, even though this is summer. Well, I guess the start of summer number 3. What really trips me out is I'll walk out of the studio about an hour from now. Or maybe a little longer, because they started the show a little bit late tonight. And it will be daylight out. And it won't, and it's 7:30 here now, 8:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Finally, the sun is like going down. I am not used to, my body's been so trained for so long for stuff just to be done at 7:30, be dark. Because in Honolulu, it's, and we don't see these late evenings like that. So it is kind of odd to experience that here in Michigan, and I guess I get used to it, but talked about it many times, but that's the way it is. So anyway, if you're watching the show live, make sure you say hello, check in. Definitely appreciate it when you're watching. So tonight, Kirk found a heavy load of articles. And I say that kind of jokingly. It was a great load of articles. And the first one up is talking about Ford. Ford snagging 100,000 F-150 Lightning pre-orders in 3 weeks. Now, the Tesla Cybertruck crossed 200,000 in a couple of days. So that is an indication that Ford, maybe didn't get as many orders as they wanted to. But the F-150 is the world's #1 selling pickup truck. And I think it's going to take some time for Ford users and Ford drivers, because I'm just going to be kind of frank. I don't think the average Ford F-150 driver is a target market for an electric vehicle. I don't think they're convinced yet. Those drivers are convinced that this will live up to and do what the gas-powered or diesel-powered version of that vehicle. I think in corn country, people are going to scoff If a farmer has an F-150 electric and he drives into a farmer's farm with his electric vehicle, I just don't know if that is going to be how it's a perception thing. So the Ford's F-Series sold more than 787,000 trucks last year and had 16.1 million trucks on the road in the United States. Now, we will see what happens with this. But the number of people that jumped on the Tesla Cybertruck is kind of surprising to me. Are these, I'd like to see the demo makeup of the people that have ordered these vehicles. Time will tell on this. And obviously, if you're going to have an F-150 Lightning, you're not going to have some cheesy, you're going to have the ability to have this in a charger that will charge the vehicle in a couple of hours. You're not going to be hooking this to the wall. That's just not going to work. And range is an issue. People use these as work trucks, and they go a long ways every day. I know that people drive 3 hours one way to get to a job site, work all day, and drive 3 hours back from a job site. I know people that do that in these types of vehicles, including construction workers on highway projects. So you drive by a highway construction zone in Michigan, and you see all the workers' vehicles. It is full of pickup trucks, the majority of them Fords. Every once in a while, you see a guy with some vehicle, some car, and, that's the lone wolf out there. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with these orders over time. Keep an eye on this. But 100,000? Do you think they're disappointed seeing they sold 787,000 last year? I don't know. Good luck buying a truck right now. The Ford dealership lot in my town is empty. There's just nobody, they can't get vehicles. That's a big, big problem. Meat supplier JBS paid $11 million to its ransomware attackers. So 11 million shimolis. That was crazy. Said its operations were back online, and now it's confirmed that it has paid the equivalent of 11 million in ransomware. We felt the decision had to be made to prevent any potential risk for our customers. The most specific information about why JBS paid the attackers is also in the statement, as the company said it was trying to mitigate any unforeseen issues related to the attack and ensure that no data was exfiltrated. Talking to the Wall Street Journal, the CEO said despite the successful data recovery efforts, experts couldn't promise that the attackers would not strike again. Now, that's crazy. That's really, really crazy. If they can't secure their operation, it's really amazing. $11 million. Most companies don't have $11 million in the bank to pay that. Imagine if that was done against a company that didn't have that kind of cash. Imagine what would happen. They'd be done. Stick a fork in them. They'd have no choice but to recover. And hopefully they have a recovery operation. All right, I've got some long-haul truck drivers that listen to this show. I know you're out there. I hear from you from time to time. Thank you for being a fan of the show. Every time I talk about this, you get pissed off, though. So I apologize in advance that your blood pressure is going to go up here. Waymo has partnered with trucking firm J.B. Hunt. If you've drove on any highway in the United States, you've seen a J.B. Hunt truck. They're yellow. And they are going to deliver cargo in Texas. Waymo and J.B. Hunt will operate level 4 autonomous trucks on the I-45 corridor between Fort Worth and Houston. Now, between Fort Worth and Houston, that's a haul. That's a run, all right? And we know that Waymo is known at this point, for its autonomous passenger vehicles that it's working out in Phoenix, Arizona, but is also developing autonomous vehicle technology for Class 8 semi-tractors. This will be one of the first opportunities for J.B. Hunt to receive data and feedback on customer freight moved with a Class 8 tractor operating at this little level of autonomy. Now, while we believe there will be need for highly skilled professional drivers for many years to come, it is important for J.B. Hunt as an industry leader to be involved early in the development of advanced autonomous technologies and driving systems to ensure that their implementation will improve efficiency, enhance safety. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a young person driving, if you have 10 or more years before retirement, you're probably safe. But it's not going to be long. I've told you guys for at least the last 5 years, this is coming. So in this instance, because this is a level 4 automation, a commercially licensed driver, a software technician, and a Waymo autonomous specialist will all be on board to ensure things stay safe. So there will be a commercial driver behind the wheel. There will be a software guy and a Waymo guy there on every run as they test autonomous driving with this truck. So be on the lookout for these things on the I-45 corridor between Fort Worth and Houston, Texas. And if any of you are out there on the road and you see one of these vehicles and you snap a picture, you're going to be my hero. I want to see this thing operation, really, really do. And those of you drivers out there that are stay safe, keep it between the lines. Or better words, keep it upright, right? All right. So what do you think about this? What do you think about this ongoing assault on automation that is going to remove jobs? I'm just keep telling you, if I was in the trucking business, I would be working very hard to expand my skill base to be able to work on autonomous vehicles, the sensors, be a technician, move into that role before it's too late. Do you think I'm way ahead? How many years do you think it will be before 50% of the trucks on the road are autonomous? I've gave you my theory before. My theory before is that everyone will become short haul, meaning that you will pick up a load. Someone will drop you someplace to pick up a load. You'll drive it from the place where the load has been put on the truck. You'll take it to a certain part where there's a staging area on the highway. You'll get out of the truck and the truck will leave without you. And on the other end, there'll be another driver who'll be there to do the short haul through city streets and so forth. That is my prediction. Because I don't think that these vehicles, these trucking vehicles, will be able to autonomously drive through big city traffic. This is a lot to ask because we've all seen it. We've been at a stoplight, and maybe you're getting ready to turn right, and off to the right you see a semi-truck that's getting ready to come across and turn left and pass directly in front of you. Every driver probably has had that happen to them at least once. And sometimes, depending on the truck and the load and the wheelbase and the spacing on the tires, that driver's got to get way out there in traffic before he hangs a left so he doesn't clip the front of your car off. So I just don't know if these trucks are going to be able to manhandle that, especially when you're dealing with a multi-lane turn. I think there's lots of things that are going to be very difficult for a semi-tractor and a Waymo, basically a full trailer, to be navigated in city streets. Now, on the highway, no, I think the days are numbered. Moving on here, it's a very interesting move. Best Buy will be closed on Thanksgiving. The retail giant will join Walmart and Target in keeping the doors closed for the holiday this year. Now, Black Friday sales have already been lengthening over recent years, with many retailers starting to offer deals days or weeks ahead of the deal itself. Stores have been opening on Thanksgiving for early sales, too. We know that last year, though, COVID-19 and the delayed Amazon Prime Day sale prompted retailers to bring sales weeks earlier than usual. Walmart, Target, and Best Buy closed stores for Thanksgiving holiday, and they repeated this approach again this year. And I think this is good for employees as well. Maybe employees will miss the time and a half or double time, but I think it's good. Shut these stores down during national holidays and let those staff enjoy the days off, get paid. Google is updating the search algorithm to combat online slander. It's apparently a rare move for a company that's been historically reluctant to intercede when it comes to search results. There's 800 or more signals that Google looks for on a website to determine where its placement is. So when I hear that they have not interceded when search results, I find that pretty amazing. So let me take a shot of here of a Red Bull. Google said Thursday that it's changing the algorithm that powers its iconic search engine in an attempt to crack down on a website that posts unverified and slanderous posts about people. It's a rare move. The changes take aim at an industry of online extortion in which websites post unproven claims calling people cheaters, predators, and pedophiles. The posts rank high in Google search results when people query the victim's name. Then the website charged thousands of dollars to remove the damaging claims. The New York Times reported the changes, which were prompted by a New York Times article that called attention to the extortion schemes that were aided by Google. Google has also created a list of known victims. It includes the names of people who've reported to the company that they were the target of such schemes. For those people, Google said it will apply protections when it comes to the ranking of search results and effort to prevent similar content from other websites appearing when someone searches for their name. This is an interesting move here. It really has. And Google has begun to intervene in search results in recent years as pressure has mounted from regulations. Of course, in 2014, the EU ruled that Google must alter search results as part of the right to be forgotten. The standard lets residents demand that Google delete personal data about them. So, anyway, if you've been a victim of this, Google had a way to report this to get, to have that information suppressed. So we'll see what happens as time goes forward in regards to these actions. Amazon is pitching a part-time return to the office as COVID restrictions ease. The company updated its return to work guidance to say that employees worldwide won't be expected to return to the office full-time as COVID lockdowns lift, but they expect to return an office-centric work culture by this fall, with a baseline of 3 days per week in the office. Corporate employees will also have the option of working remotely from a domestic location for up to 4 weeks per year, with the expectation that those employees will still commute to an office during that span. So this is very interesting. Let me read that again. Amazon expects to return to office-centric workforce by fall with a baseline of 3 days per week. Corporate employees will also have the option of working remotely from a domestic location for up to 4 weeks per year, with the expectation that those employees will still commute to an office during that span. Isn't that interesting? 3 days a week. So someone's going to have to do the math for me here. But you can stay home, be at home for up to a month, but you got to be in the office 3 days a week. Okay, well, I guess we'll see. And, of course, this guidance arises as other major tech companies are working to reimagine their work cultures. We know that Apple employees are not happy about having to go back to the office. And I'm hearing this happen a lot of different places. The Verge did a little more in-depth article on Apple's new health feature, bringing a new focus to elder care technology, on looking at walking steadiness and data sharing could be useful for older adults. And the fear of falling is big in older adults. So this is one of the things they're looking at very, very closely. They said we can do a really good job in the lab measuring walking impairment and making predictions and recommendations, but we're not very good in the real world. So as Apple's making walking steadiness feature aims to track people as they move through their daily lives, it uses metrics like walking speed, step length, and the time both feet are in the contact with the ground to monitor how stable a user is. What about when someone's been drinking? We know that the Apple Watch already has fall detection feature that can prompt users to call emergency services or automatically make a call if the user is immobile for around a minute. And we know that the iPhone is capable, the new iPhone capability focused on prediction rather than response. It can tell people if they're walking steadily and issue an alert if they think they're at an increased risk of falling. So they've got a clinical trial of about 100,000 participants. So we'll see where this leads. They're all worried about us geriatrics out there, right? If you have a Samsung phone, security flaws have been found in Samsung stock mobile apps. A mobile security startup has found 7 security flaws in Samsung's pre-installed mobile apps, which it says, if abused, could have allowed attackers broad access to a victim's personal data. Oversecured said the vulnerabilities were found in several apps and components bundled with Samsung phones and tablets. They told TechCrunch that the vulnerabilities were verified on a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, but that all Samsung devices could potentially be affected because the baked-in apps are responsible for system functionality. So we'll see. They published this article. We'll see what Samsung says they confirmed the flaws, but would not provide a list of specific devices. Don't know if they've patched these or not already. But time will tell. We'll see if Samsung comes out and issues a whole bunch of updates to their mobile devices. I thought Apple was getting out of the electric car business. Apple's hired former Canoo CEO as it ramps up electric car project. Ulrich Kranz co-founded the EV startup and has also helped run BMW's i3 and i8 programs. And so they've hired him. I'm looking here at this write-up. It just talks about him a lot. It doesn't give a lot of detail about what Apple's doing, obviously. And we know that Canoo's EV platform was attractive enough that Apple held talks with the startups in early 2020. But we know that the talks broke down. Canoo preferred to take an investment while Apple was interested in an acquisition. So we know that Canoo had an agreement with Hyundai to build vehicles, but we know the startup has since walked away from the deal. But anyway, he's now at Apple. Interesting move. Don't know what's happened with Canoo. This is absolutely a typical government bureaucracy issue. Some people can't get the FCC subsidy because street isn't the same as ST. ISP's data must exactly match FCC's or an application is rejected, and they say the fix is on the way. So some broadband users who qualify the government's new $50 per month subsidies haven't been able to obtain the discounts because of a technical issue in the FCC rollout of the program. The problem stems from the FCC's national verifier and how the broadband provider systems interact with the FCC database. Small mismatches between entries and in the database, such as having an address recorded as Elm Street in an ISP system and Elm Street and the FCC's, can cause people's applications to be rejected. That probably should have happened with some of the unemployment stuff that we're finding out, where we lost $250 to $400 billion to scammers that took unemployment money outside the United States. So not surprising that we have a federal system that doesn't know the difference. Samsung has a new sensor, pushing pixel size even further with this new sensor. The ISOCELL JN1 has a 50 million 0.64 millimeter pixel. It's the smallest in the industry. So it's a 50 megapixel sensor with a tiny 1/2 0.76 inch format, meaning the pixels are just 0.64 millimeters in size. That can't be right. It's not millimeters. So anyway, very, very tight. What should result in much better pictures, obviously. How many of you miss going to the club and listen to a DJ put a mix together? I think all of us are a little older. Maybe we've been there, right? Amazon Music has introduced something called DJ mode. it recreates the old school radio vibe. So this actually, instead of a club mode, is probably like a radio DJ. So Amazon might have a solution if the nonstop music of streaming service sounds a little too clinical. Next to the dynamic vibe of radio, the company has introduced a DJ mode to Amazon's music that impersonates or that intersperses stations with commentary and insights from DJs, artists, tastemakers, and even pop-up video-style music trivia from ALEXA. The rap rotation playlist will include occasional drop-ins from DJ Letty and rap stars. For example, while a Billie Eilish takeover experience melds her created songs with stories about her music and favorite tracks. So anyway, DJ mode, maybe mix up the mix a little bit on your latest music mix that you're listening to on Amazon Music. House Democrats are about to uncork a 5-pronged assault on tech. Bills are set to be announced in coming days that make it easier to break up tech giants, block them from merging, and prohibit them from hobbling their rivals. How about preventing them from censoring people? So the most controversial bill would let prosecutors sue to break up major tech companies by forcing the platforms to sell off lines of business if they represent a conflict of interest. The legislation aims to enact the recommendations from a blockbuster House Judiciary Committee report last fall on competition in digital markets, which found that the 4 tech giants have monopolized various aspects of the online economy. We all know this. A little late to the party. It also represents a major test for Congress. Can the lawmakers of both parties who have condemned the tech companies as abusive come together to do something about it? I don't think so. Democrats in the House Judiciary Antitrust panel circulated the draft bill to potential co-sponsors this week. They hope to lure at least some GOP members into supporting the bill. Particular Colorado Rep Ken Buck, a critic of large tech companies, and the top Republican on the panel. This is a significant change. William Kovac, a former Federal Trade Commission chair who now sits on the board of UK's Competition Authority. This is not traditional antitrust laws. This is a broader concept of competition policy that borrows from some antitrust concept but relies on a broader notion on what behavior for individual firms is inappropriate. So, banning conveniences like Amazon Basic brand batteries, Apple's Find My Phone tool, or Google Maps appearing in Google search results are ideas that would spark a consumer backlash. He said, whose group is backed by Amazon, Facebook, and Google. Those proposals inexplicably target a bunch of technological conveniences that most people really like. And I think this goes a little further. What this really goes into, and this is a long article, it talks about money, mergers, non-discrimination, data portability, conflicts of interest. It's like Google now owns a majority of the digital ad ecosphere. There's no competition in that space at all. None, zero. So more than likely, that would be the target. Take the ad division away from Google, or take Instagram away from Facebook. Those types of things. So we'll see. We'll see where these go, and if they're able to get this through, and if anyone ends up actually getting broke up. Twitter's going to add a newsletter subscribe button to profiles for simple signups. So if you run a newsletter on the Twitter-owned platform, what's it called? Review, R-E-V-U-E-E. If you have a review, a newsletter account, you'll be able to link that to your Twitter profile here soon so people can subscribe to your newsletter via your Twitter profile. So I don't know how many people actually have a review newsletter, but this will definitely give them a competitive edge to be able to encourage people to switch. This is something I was not familiar with at all. Last year, Apple acquired the weather app Dark Sky, and shortly after its purchase, Apple shut down the app for Android. But despite the revamped iOS 15 weather app taking heavy inspiration from Dark Sky, the weather app standalone iOS app, web app, and API will remain available until the end of next year, compared to the end of this year as previously planned. So those companies that are using the Dark Sky API will have until December 31st, 2022 to switch to a different provider. So they're not getting their data cut out from underneath them. Hackers, this is big. Hackers stole source code to FIFA 2021 and the Frostbite engine from EA. They're trying to sell those assets on underground online forums. They apparently got about 900 gigs of data. EA's not the first to fall to this, but being that they got the source code to FIFA 2021 and some of the proprietary EA's Frostbite game engine, this could really be a leg up for someone that went and grabbed this. But it wouldn't be without risk, for sure, for people to gain access to that source code. So who knows how much they're selling it for, but they're probably looking to sell it off to a competitor. GameStop sales rose 25% as retailer chases e-commerce growth, says it may sell 5 million shares. The video game retailer said it had tapped Amazon executive Mark Furlong as its new CEO. It declined to provide a forecast for the year, but said sales momentum has continued into the second quarter. So this is good, but still, shares fell more than 12% in extended trading on Wednesday after the company declined to provide an outlook for the year and said it may sell as much as 5 million shares to bring cash in. Loss per share was 45% share diluted. Revenue was $1.28 billion. So GameStop is still big versus $1.16 billion expected, but it had a net loss of $66.8 million or $1 per share. So anyway, as of May 1st, GameStop said it paid off its long-term debt and no longer had any borrowings under its asset-based revolving credit facility. This is largely because of the run-up on the stock. We know that GameStop shares are up 1,506% so far this year. Its shares have swung from a 52-week low of $377 to a 52-week high of $483. As of Wednesday's close, the shares were $302. The market value is $21.41 billion. And, of course, the trading frenzy's gotten the attention of the SEC. GameStop said it received a request from the SEC on May 26th to voluntarily provide documents and information. The company said it was reviewing that request and planned to cooperate. So, very, very cool. But they're still, they got challenges with this whole business. Who goes to the mall anymore? Apple says its new logon tech is as easy as passwords, but far more secure. It's called with passkeys and iCloud keychain. The iPhone maker joins Microsoft and Google in advocating for passwordless authentication. Apple has begun testing passkeys and new authentication technology. Says they're as easy to use as passwords, but vastly more secure. To set up an account on a website or app using a passkey, you first choose a username for the new account. Then use Face ID or Touch ID to confirm that it's really you who's using the device. You don't ever pick a password. Your device handles generation and storage of the passkey, which iCloud keychain synchronizes across all your Apple devices. And they pushed this at WWDC. And, of course, bad passwords are still the number one vulnerability out there. Over on Geek News Central, a couple of great articles. One of them is OnePlus apps, Clip, Tag Host, and Wallpaper, a review of those. OnePlus are well known for their successful range of smartphones, but what's less known is they have a small but growing collection of handy Android apps, Clipped, Tag Host, and Wallpaper, produced by their software development team. So we've got an article talking about those three particular apps. Thanks, Andrew, for writing that. Andrew's one of our writers from the UK. So definitely check out that article on Geek News Central. This is big news, and I talked a little bit about in the last show on how people are doing money laundering a variety of ways. Chinese police arrested 1,100 people on crypto-related money laundering charges. This is the fifth round of a nationwide crackdown on money laundering activities related to telecom fraud in China, dubbed Operation Card Breaking. This, again, fifth round. The most recent round targeted people that allegedly use cryptocurrency to assist money laundering activities. They said they shut down 170 criminal organizations. Telecom criminals tend to use fake or stolen SIM cards and compromised bank accounts to launder the money through the traditional banking system. This has become more difficult since the Chinese police tightened surveillance on commercial banks and black markets for SIM cards. Of course, Chinese police have been cracking down on crypto-related money laundering crimes across 23 provinces and regions, including Beijing. The state council called for a tough crackdown on telecom from October of 2020, and so far they have arrested more than 311,000 people and eliminated 15,000 criminal organizations at a variety of different levels. So maybe they'll put a dent in some of this craziness. Roblox, Roblox, I guess it's a gaming company, has been hit with a $200 million lawsuit for alleged music copyright infringement. The National Music Publisher Association has filed a $200 million lawsuit for allowing the illegal use of songs in streams. The organization said it has also launched a major ramp-up of its takedown campaign against Twitch for the Amazon platform's failure to license music. In a keynote speech, NMPA President David Israelite said Roblox, with 42 million daily active users, has taken virtually no action to prevent copyright infringement. The group added that songs by Ariana Grande, Imagine Dragons, Deadmau5, Ed Sheeran, and the Rolling Stones are all being utilized without compensating their writers and copyright holders. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of publishers including Big Machine Records, Hypnosis, and Joel Zimmerman, Deadmau5. So here we go again. Get out the checkbook time. Sony is working on a drone to handle full-frame mirrorless cameras. And it's called the AirSpeak S1 drone. It'll be for alpha cameras. It's going to cost about $10,000. Now, this was the same drone that was revealed at a virtual CES presentation earlier this year. The company says it's the world's smallest drone that can use its full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens Alpha to shoot high-definition footage. It's compatible with the Alpha 7S series, Alpha 7R, and Alpha 9, FX3, and even Alpha 1, Sony's new 8K 50-megapixel flagship camera. So this is interesting. So it gives this drone, $10,000. So not cheap in the least. All right, so let me go ahead here, and that's funny. I get review requests sometimes for certain stuff. It's kind of funny, the review requests I get for certain gear. Let me go over here and see if we've got any comments that have come in since the last show. No, I have not gotten any, but that doesn't stop you from dropping me an email. If you like the show today, geeknews@gmail.com. If you want to provide your commentary, please do. Geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the place to do. Also, thank you for those of you that are continuing your ongoing support by being an insider. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. The Insider Show is still coming. I keep promising that, but maybe by Christmas I'll get it out. Thank you so much for being here today. I definitely appreciate it. I'll be back with you on Monday for a normal show. I want to thank Kirk for the production today and getting the podcast ready to go. And thank you that watched live. Thank you for being here and making comments. Until next time, I'll see you here on Monday. Everyone take care. Be good. Take care of your family, friends, dogs, cats, and the elderly, of course. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.